Oluchi's eyes were fixed on her dying stepsister, Norma, as she struggled to speak. Her stepmother, Mrs. Okoro, stood beside her, tears streaming down her face. Oluchi's heart ached as she watched her stepsister's life slip away. Despite the cruelty Norma had shown her over the years, Oluchi couldn't help but feel a pang of sadness. Step into a world where family ties are tested, secrets unravel, and love fights to conquer betrayal. Follow Oluchi, a young Nigerian woman, as she uncovers shocking truths about her stepsister's mysterious death and finds herself caught in a whirlwind of danger, love, and justice. Norma, please don't stop, Oluchi begged, trying to comfort her, but Norma's eyes were fixed on hers, filled with a desperate plea. Oluchi, promise me. Norma's voice was barely audible. Promise me you will marry my husband, Uche. Take care of my son, Obinna. Don't let him suffer. Oluchi hesitated, unsure of what to say. But Mrs. Okoro's gaze forced her to nod in agreement. I promise, Norma. I will take care of Uche and Obinna. Norma's eyes closed, a faint smile on her lips. Oluchi felt a weight settled on her shoulder, a promise that would change her life forever. As Norma took her last breath, Oluchi felt a sense of relief washed over her, but it was short lived as Mrs. Okoro's words cut through the silence. Oluchi, you must fulfill your promise. Uche needs you now, more than ever. You will go to him and take care of Obinna. Oluchi's heart sank, knowing that her life was about to take a drastic turn. Will Oluchi survive the danger of fulfilling her promise? Will justice prevail? Watch the full story to find out. This is like a play, beautiful people. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this thrilling story with your friends and family. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next shocking episode. Are you ready to uncover the truth with Oluchi? Guys, let's dive into this beautiful story. The day of Norma's funeral arrived, and Oluchi was expected to play the role of a grieving sister. She put on a sober face, trying to hide her true feelings. As they laid Norma to rest, Oluchi couldn't help but think about the promise she had made. She felt trapped, bonded by a vow she had made to a woman who had made her life miserable. Mrs. Okoro continued to watch Oluchi closely, making sure she didn't give up on the promise she had made to Norma. Oluchi knew she had to be careful. One wrong move could lead to a consequence she couldn't bear. As the funeral came to a close, Oluchi felt a sense of relief washed over her, but it was short lived as Mrs. Okoro reminded her of her duties. Oluchi, you need to start making arrangements to move into Uche's house, Mrs. Okoro said, her voice firm. You promised Norma you would take care of him and Obinna. Oluchi nodded, feeling a sense of resignation wash over her. Oluchi arrived at Uche's house, feeling like a stranger in a strange land. She was greeted by Uche's mother, Mama Uche. She fixed her gaze at Oluchi from head to toe before nodding in approval. Welcome, Oluchi, Mama Uche said, her voice dripping with sweetness. I am glad you are here to take care of my son and grandson. Oluchi smiled, trying to hide her true feelings. She knew she had to be careful around Mama Uche. She was notorious for her sharp tongue and meddling ways. As Oluchi settled into her new life, she couldn't help but feel like an outsider. Uche was distant, and Obinna seemed weary of her. Oluchi knew it would take time to win them over, but she was determined to keep her promise. Oluchi was busy unpacking her bags when she heard a knock at the door. She opened it and found a handsome young man standing in the hallway, a charming smile on his face. Hi, I am Kene, he said, holding out his hands. Uche's brother. Oluchi's heart skipped a beat as she shook his hand, feeling a spark of electricity run through her body. Kene was warm and welcoming, and Oluchi found herself feeling at ease around him. As they chatted, she realized that Kene was the complete opposite of Uche, who was brooding and distant. Kene, can I ask you something? Oluchi said, curiosity getting the better of her. Why is Uche so distant? He seemed really unhappy. Kene's expression turns serious and he leaned in close. Uche is still grieving, Kenneth said quietly. He loved Norma deeply, and her death hit him hard. But there's something else, something that has been eating away at him for years. Oluchi's ears perked up, intrigued. What is it? She asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Kenneth hesitated, unsure of how much to reveal. I will tell you someday, he said, smiling mysteriously. But for now, let's just say that Uche's life is more complicated than it seemed. Oluchi was hanging out the laundry when she heard a voice behind her. Oluchi, how are you coping? It was her friend Amaka, who had stopped by for a visit. Oluchi turned around, smiling. I am managing, she said, trying to sound cheerful. It's not easy, but I'm trying to make the best of it. Amaka nodded sympathetically. I know how hard it must be for you, she said, especially after everything Norma put you through. Oluchi's eyes dropped, feeling a pang of guilt. Amaka, I don't like to speak ill of the dead, she said quietly. But sometimes I wonder if Norma ever truly cared about me. Amaka's expression turned angry. Of course, she didn't, Amaka exclaimed. Norma was a wicked person. Oluchi, she and her mother made your life a living hell. You deserve so much, better than this, Oluchi sighed, feeling a sense of frustration wash over her. I know, Amaka, she said, but I made a promise and I intend to keep it, no matter how hard it gets. Kenneth stopped by Oluchi's room one evening, looking concerned. Oluchi, can I talk to you about something? He asked, sitting down on the bed beside her. Oluchi nodded curiously. What's on your mind, Kene? She asked, turning to face him. It's about Uche, Kenneth said, his expression serious. I know he's still grieving, but I am worried about him. He is being distant and cold, even to Obinna. I'm afraid he's going to push you away too. Oluchi confronted Uche about his behavior, demanding to know what was wrong. Uche looked taken aback, but he quickly regained his composure. I'm just stressed, Oluchi, he said, his voice calm. Work has been crazy lately, and I'm just trying to cope. Oluchi raised an eyebrow, skeptical. Is that all? She asked, her voice firm. Uche hesitated, looking away. What are you insinuating, Oluchi? He asked, his voice cold. Oluchi's heart skipped a beat as she realized that Uche was hiding something from her. One evening, as Mama Uche was in the kitchen cooking, Oluchi entered the kitchen looking for something to eat. Ah, Oluchi, my dear, Mama Uche said, turning to face her. I have been thinking you need to start taking care of Uche properly. He has been neglecting himself since Norma's passing. Oluchi nodded, feeling a sense of trepidation. She knew that Mama Uche was just trying to help, but she couldn't shake off the feeling that the older woman was meddling in her business. Oluchi, you need to know the truth about our family, Kenneth said, his voice low. The truth about Norma's death and Uche's behavior. Oluchi's eyes widened as she listened to Kenneth's words. She had no idea what he was going to say, but she knew that it was going to be big. What is it, Kenneth? She asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Kenneth hesitated, looking around the room nervously. Norma didn't die of natural causes, he said, finally. She was murdered. Oluchi's eyes widened in shock as she listened to Kenneth's words. She couldn't believe what she was hearing. Who did it? She asked, her voice shaky with anger. Kenneth shook his head. I don't know, he said, but I think Uche might know something. He has been acting strange ever since Norma's death. Oluchi's eyes narrowed as she thought about Uche's behavior. She had always thought he was just grieving, but now she wasn't so sure. Oluchi couldn't shake off the feeling that Uche was hiding something from her. She started to notice little things about his behavior, things that made her suspicious. One day, she followed him to the park, watching from afar as he met with a mysterious woman. Oluchi's heart skipped a bit as she realized that Uche might be involved in Norma's murder. Oluchi confronted Uche about what she had seen, demanding to know the truth. Uche looked taken aback, but he quickly regained his composure. I can explain, he said, his voice calm. The woman you saw me with is just a friend. We are discussing business. Oluchi raised an eyebrow, skeptical. At the park? She asked, her voice dripping with sarcasm. Uche denied any involvement in Norma's murder, but Oluchi wasn't convinced. She started to investigate on her own. Oluchi discovered a hidden safe in Uche's room, filled with documents and photographs. As she flipped through the papers, she realized that Uche was involved in some shady business dealings. Oluchi was confronted by the mysterious woman she had seen Uche with. The woman revealed that she had evidence of Uche's involvement in Norma's murder, and she was willing to use it to blackmail Oluchi. Oluchi was torn between her loyalty to Uche and her desire to uncover the truth. She didn't know what to do or who to trust. Kenne reveals that he had been working to bring down Uche's empire using the mysterious woman to gather evidence. Oluchi was shocked, but also relieved that Kenne was on her side. Oluchi and Kenne formed an alliance, working together to bring down Uche's empire and uncover the truth about Norma's murder. Oluchi and Kenne set a trap for Uche, using the evidence they had gathered to confront him. But Uche was one step ahead, and he had a surprise waiting for them. Oluchi and Kenne was forced to flee. Pursued by Uche's henchmen, they went into hiding, waiting for the perfect moment to strike back. Oluchi and Kenne came up with a plan to take down Uche once and for all. They would use the evidence they had gathered to expose him and bring him to justice. Uche was put on trial, facing charges of murder and corruption. Oluchi and Kenne testified against him, revealing the truth about his empire. The verdict was guilty, and Uche was sentenced to life in prison. Oluchi and Kenne were hailed as heroes, their bravery and determination praised by all. As they walked out of the courtroom, Oluchi turned to Kenne and smiled. Thank you for standing by me, she said. her voice filled with gratitude. Kenneth smiled back, his eyes shining with admiration. I will always be here for you, Oluchi, he said. Oluchi's heart skipped a beat as she realized that she had fallen in love with Kene. She knew that she had found a true partner in him. Oluchi and Kene stood outside the courtroom, looking out at the bright sunshine. It was a new beginning, a chance for them to start anew. Oluchi, I have to ask, Kenneth said, turning to her with a smile. Will you stay with me? We can face whatever comes next together. Oluchi's heart skipped a bit as she looked into Kenneth's eyes. She knew that she had found a true partner in him. Yes, Kenneth, she said, smiling, I will stay with you. And with that, Oluchi and Kenneth walked off into the sunset, ready to face whatever the future held. No one would ever want to end up with a man such as Uche. The discovery from Oluchi and Kene broke the promise that Oluchi made on the dying bed of her stepsister, Norma. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this thrilling story with your friends and family. Hit on the notification bell so you don't miss the next shocking episode. Thank you for watching Folk Tales with Chinelo.